Okay, guys, so I don't know if you realized this, but on the sixth seal in the book of Revelation, we have a pattern that is repeating itself. We know that when the sixth seal opens, it says that there's an earthquake and there's also an eclipse. Well, this is the exact pattern as to when Jesus was crucified. There was a great earthquake and there was an eclipse. And then it says in the sixth seal that the untimely figs, talking about the stars, fall from heaven to earth. Now, once you realize that this pattern is repeating itself, then I kind of put it together like, okay, well, is this our rapture pattern in the sixth seal? Because a lot of people believe that the seals are open. Now, I'm not going to argue with anybody because I've gone back and forth a long time ago with people, and there's really nobody really knows. But the people that watch the heavens believe that a bunch of the seals are open already. I don't know. But I do know that if we are looking for a pattern, now we know about the April 8th eclipse, right? And so you have your eclipse, but the earthquake part, as I've shown in a video a long time ago, is also there because the April 8th solar eclipse that makes it X across America with the 2017 eclipse, it goes over and follows quite a bit of the new Madrid fault line. And if you know about fault lines, this has everything to do with earthquakes. But it's not just any fault line. It's the new Madrid fault line, which is, in this country, one of the most major fault lines in this country. So you have your possibility for an earthquake, and we definitely have an eclipse. So my point is that possibly we're looking at the sixth seal, possibly, maybe not. But what I'm doing is looking at patterns. And if that's the case, well then, possibly a rapture. And you just saw my last video talking about the number 206 in the Greek, which is used in Matthew 24, verse 31, gathering his elect from the ends of heaven. So this is amazing to me. This pattern really hit the mark for me because in the sixth seal in the book of Revelation, you have the same pattern. Earthquake, eclipse, stars falling from heaven, and so on. That is the pattern for when Christ was crucified. Great earthquake, eclipse, and wouldn't you know it, this eclipse goes over the new Madrid fault line for quite a while. So there's your coverage for an earthquake, and obviously eclipse. Just looking at patterns, Ecclesiastes 1:9 and Ecclesiastes 3:15. These patterns, this is what the Bible was one of the main. This is one of the main principles in the Bible is patterns, 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 because they repeat themselves in so many ways. And Christ dying on the cross and an eclipse and a great earthquake fits the bill, possibility, for this April 8th eclipse. Considering it goes over the new Madrid fault line, major fault line, and of course, it's an eclipse. So, and that's the sixth seal. So just a possibility there. Just looking at possibilities. Right, guys, so I just wanted to talk for a few minutes. Please don't pay attention to my tattoos or my double chin here because I shaved. I don't get tattoos anymore, and I'm not going to shave again because I look really bad. So here's the thing, guys. I have been stuck on 2025. I've seen so many patterns, so many mysteries, and I've shown you guys leading me to 2025 for a rapture. In my mind, I was like, that is it. But then I was led to Feast of Trumpets 2024, looking at some really interesting patterns, some numbers. I've done videos a while back, a few months ago. But recently in my spirit, I'm telling you, I couldn't get into it. I knew about this eclipse for a long time. I knew about Passover, but I just couldn't get into it. It wasn't in me yet. But just recently, the past, I don't know, a few days, maybe a week, God put it in me to look at, I could really feel it. I really feel that this April 8th and the Passover following April 8th and the time around there, I feel it. That's all I can say. I feel it now. I think there's a real possibility. And plus, like I said, my calculations were off for looking at a rapture 2 years into the last 7 years. I thought that was 2025. And, that's going back to Genesis chapter 45, when there is a great deliverance 2 years into the 7 years. Going off of that pattern. I thought that was 25, but 2025 is the beginning of 3 years. The third year into the last 7 years here. From 22 to 29. 23 is the first year. 24 is the second year. So that's one of the things that clicked me on. Like, oh my gosh. Like, wait, the second year into the last 7 is 2024. It's not 25. And then God's like, all right. And I just feel it. Like I could feel it right now. That's why I'm just talking with you guys. It's very difficult for me sometimes to talk to a phone all day. Because, I see the views and I see some likes. And, that keeps me kind of going and pumped knowing that people are benefiting from my videos and I can feel it. But it's nothing like telling somebody in person who is interested. I know all you guys are interested, but if we were in person, man, I would be so pumped. But it's hard for me to get pumped when I'm looking at a phone all the time. And there's nobody here. But in this situation, I'm actually still pumped. Because my pattern for 2 years in that I was going off of in Genesis 45 actually hits 2024. This is the second year in. And the new year on the Hebrew calendar begins. When? April 8th, solar eclipse. That's when their new year begins. Technically in the Bible, that's Nisan. It's called Nisan. The first month on the Jewish calendar starts on this eclipse that everybody is covering. I have never seen so much coverage on an eclipse throughout the knowledgeable Christian community and just throughout the internet. Everybody knows about this. It's huge, guys. That's what I want to say too. This eclipse, it's huge. It's like a one-of-a-kind event. And that's the beginning of the second year into this last 7 years, which matches up with the Genesis 45 account of a great deliverance 2 years into the last 7 years. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how far the 2 years is in. Is it the beginning? Maybe, because Passover is the barley harvest. We're the barley. So Passover is the barley harvest, and around that time. And Passover is when Christ was crucified and he rose from the dead. And then 40 days after Passover is Ascension Day. So it could be all the way up to Ascension Day looking, possibly for a rapture, but then you go on to the other feasts. Because then you have Feast of Trumpets and Day of Atonement and things like this. But my point is this is the second year, matching up with the Genesis 45, 2 years into the great. And it happens to be this one of a chance of a lifetime eclipse that is massive, that is huge, making an X across America. This whole theme with Elon Musk making an X, SpaceX, Disease X, turning Facebook or Twitter into X. They know what's going to happen. We don't really know, but we kind of have an idea. So this is huge, guys. This is huge. In all of my calculations and my patterns, I was off. 2025 is the third year in. 2024 is the second year in. That makes all the difference. All the difference. So I just want to kind of let you guys know where I'm at and how I feel and what happened to me, how I feel it now in my spirit. I really feel it. And again, I'm not going to say for sure, because when you're wrong, people fry you on the internet, right? It's like, if you're wrong about a rapture, you're going to get it. So I'm not saying nothing for sure, but I'm looking at patterns, and I'm looking at signs in the heavens, and I'm looking at day counts, like the number 206 that I did in my last video, and everything is leading me to April. Passover in April. Total, the eclipse that makes an X and an A and Aleph across America. You have the number 206. That's what I'm looking at. Or maybe Ascension Day after that. And this is, and like I said, it's all mirroring the sixth seal. Earthquake, eclipse, right? That's when Christ died and rose from the grave. A resurrection with the earthquake, and then the graves popped open and over 500 walked around in the city. I mean, it's all a pattern that's all right there. And it's all revolving around Passover, an eclipse, and an earthquake. And it goes across the New Madrid fault line. Hey, man. So I just want to share my joy in this. Okay? Thank you, guys. I hope you can feel it too. And if it doesn't happen, something's going to happen. If it ain't the rapture, something, big events are to take place, and possibly very big changes. That's okay for us, because we know this is all coming. We know where we're at. We know who we are, and we just have to have faith. We have to stay hydrated. We have to keep focused. Thank you, guys. God bless.